Okay, I've been promising some of you a tour of the garden, and I'm going to go ahead and give you a tour of our gardens out back. This is the home that we had was built in the 60s, and when I purchased this home, look at this gorgeous tree, by the way. We call her Betty Davis because that's my favorite actress from the past, and she's just a huge tree. She's probably been around for 80 to 100 years. But this whole area back here, there was a great big metal shed there. This whole area in here was just ivy all the way up to the door. It was a sliding glass door at the time, not the French doors. And there were trees, and there was none of this scaping out here, any of the stone scaping or the tiers or anything. It just went straight down. The water just ran down. There were no sheds back there, none of those sheds. So I've done a lot of work over the years, and every summer or spring I try to do a project out here. Now I'm going to show this to you with the understanding that it's way not into my liking right now. So I just haven't had a lot of time this summer. I've been real busy, and I'm taking a day today to work in the yard and work in my gardens. I will not get done everything I need to get done, but I wanted to show you how I use the stones and the glass. This is under the tree, this garden space right here, so it doesn't, flowers will not grow here. The geraniums will grow. These geraniums, I always plant these early spring, and they go all summer long. They tolerate the heat well, they bloom beautiful, and they do go into the fall, so they're in those great big urns. But right here under the tree, nothing grows, so I decided to turn it into a stone garden, like a Zen garden with glass flowers and glass stones. And we do have the weathered fence posts here just to remind us who we are in our business. Now we've got some fall leaves falling, but like these, I had these in the booth for sale for a long time. Nobody wanted them, so I decided to put them in my glass garden. And then here's some glass flowers I found, and they're not perfect. See, that one's missing a petal, but in real life flowers aren't always perfect. Here's some pretty glass. There's some pottery plate, and then there's like a clear glass piece behind that. And you probably saw me find this. I love it. It reminds me of Dr. Seuss, that glass piece. Here's a little glass tulip. And everybody gives me these glass stones, or I find them. These are the watering glass things that you use to water. Got some stones stacked. Over here I've got this is a genuine Japanese float that I found. My mom has one also. Here's some slag glass, really pretty. And that looks like a flower. That's the stone that was from Belize. My friend who was moving to Belize, we did a clean out of some of her stuff. So I put these little stones, and they kind of reflect when the sun is shining. It's really pretty. Get a really pretty reflection there. I just try to repurpose things that people aren't going to use. And usually I have beautiful flowers growing in all these urns, but it's getting towards the end of the summer, so things are starting to wind down. This is another little seating area that we have. We've got some ferns. And then it kind of goes down into here. Here's another tier. And I've done all this work myself. Put all this in. Little bench. And then if you look back up, I'll take you up there and show you our shade garden. And then we moved our vegetable garden all the way up front, because I'm going to swing around here. It used to be back here, down in here, and it just stopped growing because there's just too many trees. So as you can see, the building needs some cleaning. We've got a lot of work we need to do back here. We're going to have a fire tonight because it's supposed to be nice tonight. And I didn't even get to these gardens this year. I usually have flowers growing all around there. There's some repairs that need to be done. I love to garden, and I'm just a little ashamed of the way that my garden is looking right now. But it still brings me a lot of peace, even in this condition. I still come out and I enjoy it every single time I can. Oh, our little flamingo fell over here. Here's my little flamingo. And these are all solar lights. They're all throughout the garden, and they work great. And Steve got them for me for Christmas one year. Here's another glass piece that I've repurposed into the garden. I think somebody, you see the hole in the middle? I think that was an art glass piece that was made to be a clock, but was never made into a clock, and I found it at a yard sale. Over here I have tiles that I'm repurposing that I've put down in this garden, because again, I've tried to plant flowers here, some trying to grow. They're trying to make it, but they just have a hard time back here in the shade, so I've decided to be creative. My apple trees, there were several fruit trees in this yard, and this is the last remaining one. It's pretty dead. I leave it because the birds love to eat off from it, and then they can fly over to the water, the bird bath, take their bath, drink their water. And this is repurposed. That's a piece of glass that I found, and I just put it on a plant stand. So this is kind of the backyard. It's our oasis that is in disarray over there. I'm so embarrassed to actually show you this, but I said I would show it to you. This is kind of more like an English garden style. Oh, and by the way, back here, I'm kind of bouncing around, but back here you'll see that these are insulators that I've put on the bottle trees, and so they reflect the sun. I'm just showing you how I'm using the glass in the garden because it puts off a beautiful reflection. And my hydrangeas need trimming, and there's my rose bush that's being overrun by this. Yeah, this all needs cleaning up. I've got to plant that there. There are some pretty flowers there's some trying to keep going. So this is, like I said, this area is my perennial area. I try to plant all perennials in here so I don't have to do anything to it except for cut them back, which I haven't been doing because I've been so busy. This whole area is going to be a project coming up. I tried to plant, I wanted to see if tomatoes would do good over here because this gets sun almost all day. And they didn't do well. And I want to get rid of all that monkey grass up in there. There's some roses I'm going to take out. I'm going to redo this. I'm going to relocate this beautiful fountain that I've never actually had running. And so I'm going to relocate that up front where I can plug it in and get it running. Dead flowers again, sorry guys. But I just want to show you how I'm using glass and repurposing things. This was the piece that started all this conversation. Was I found these two pieces. This is a glass candlestick, and then that is a lampshade. And so I have finally got the epoxy. I'm going to epoxy those today and get them together. And during the day you get the reflection of the sun off from it, and it's beautiful, showing the stained glass. And then at night I could put a tea light in it, or even a solar light, and it would be beautiful at night. And I absolutely love my Talavera. This is a fish. I found that up north in Owego. So yeah, this is our backyard oasis. Now I have these. I'm going to be putting these out today. They're beautiful blue. Picked those up last week. And I've got some black and whites. I have mostly out there in the stone area is where I just put black and white. I don't tend to put those in the garden beds, but these I'll put throughout the garden beds. And then I had this piece that I found at, I think I found this at Goodwill. I can't even remember how much it was, but what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it on two rods and stand it up in the garden in the background behind flowers. I thought that would be really pretty. Now of course in the winter all of this glass will be stored probably in that old crate over there. We'll store it in there or store it in one of the sheds over the winter so that it doesn't get ruined. This is our wall. Picked up that owl down in Florida. Found this. Somebody didn't want it because it's missing one of its, you know, this is the garden of mishaps. But it's really beautiful and reflects light. And that's a macrame piece. I put some things in there. So this is our garden. Now, again, I have so much work to do. I am usually pretty proud of my garden, and I just haven't been because I just haven't had the time. Here's our beautiful blueberry bush that is turning a beautiful color for the fall. I love it. So pretty. And this is the shade garden, and this needs some cleaning up and some work, but I want to plant a lot more hostas in here and just have it full of hostas and ferns. Again, I need to trim at the base of that tree. The house needs cleaning. Oh, this is embarrassing. But anyway, I put all this in. This was grass and it wouldn't grow well. A couple of years ago I put all this in. I need to freshen up my mulch, weed it, put all the stone walkway. But it walks up now to our vegetable garden, which is out front. So today I only have enough, there's only so much time in the day, and I only have enough time to focus out front. I'm going to be cleaning up all the beds out front. I'm going to be probably knocking down our vegetable garden that we've put in this year out here. It did fantastic. There used to be a huge tree that was here that died, and we had to have it taken down. And we had the stump ground up, and then I let the ground sit for a couple of years, I think. And then I decided, okay, I'm moving the vegetable garden up here, and it's amazing how well this garden did for the first year in. Oh, look at, there's a bee right there. Let me get out of the, let's see if you can see it. Can you see the bee? That's beautiful. Those flowers are beautiful, aren't they? I put some pollinator type flowers up here by the garden to help with pollination. Put a butterfly bush in back there. I've got some, what are these called? Not lavender, but, can't remember the name of them. But they're blooming again, which usually they only bloom in the spring. So that's interesting. I'm going to be putting stone, let's get it to focus, some lower stone, just low stone, like raised beds on the outside here, on each side. And I will put some type of, pretty bulb type flowers in there to bloom in the spring. And I'm trying to weed and clean, but this was the vegetable garden this year, and we still have tons of peppers coming. Still lots of peppers, and these guys are hot. These peppers are very hot. And our cucumber, that was our cucumber bush there. We've had tons of cucumbers this year. I've never been able to grow cucumbers. I just trimmed that bush. It needs trimming every year, several times a year. Has to get a haircut, so I just had to trim it. But look at how much it's bloomed this year. And Joanne took a whole bunch off there yesterday. She's going to make wreaths out of them. I can't wait to see how those come out. So I'm going to be working on the front gardens, get it all cleaned up to invite people over for the yard sale, make it look pretty. So I've got a lot of work to do out front here. I'm going to end it with this beautiful flower. Don't ask me the name of it. I can't remember. It's starting to actually, it's starting to wither, but it was just gorgeous. Just a beautiful, beautiful flower. And looks like there's a couple more that are going to be blooming soon. Here's one that's getting ready to bloom. But that was gorgeous. And yeah, there's lots of weeds. Lots of work to do. So I hope everybody's having a beautiful weekend and enjoying this beautiful fall weather. I'm enjoying it. I really need today to do this gardening, and I hope you enjoyed the tour. I will hopefully bring you back again when it's looking beautiful, maybe in the spring, because in the fall, things are dying off. I mean, it has its own beauty in the fall, but in the spring it's just full of vibrant, fresh, beautiful flowers. And it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous all year long, but it's very peaceful back here.